What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Whiskey Dixon. I'm Sugarbear. Got my buddy Troy here with me today again.
How's it going?
And we're drinking Jefferson's Bourbon.
What's this little ball sack you got?
That's what I was wondering when Moses graciously donated this to me. Michael's Market Wine and
Thank
Spirits
you.
here in Dixon. Check it out. Awesome whiskey selection. To be honest, I thought he was handing me like a little gun or something. I was like, whoa, okay. No, that's not what it is. It's whiskey. But it's not just whiskey. It's the entire line of Jefferson's bourbon. So we have the very small batch, the classic. We have the reserve. We don't know which one. The thing with the reserves is it's usually a different cask finish. A lot of them are different like wines and stuff like that. We don't know. And also Jefferson's Ocean bourbon aged at sea. We don't know what voyage this is. We don't know which edition of it this is.
But at sea it was.
We know it was aged at sea, which is pretty cool. So I say should probably start off with the classic, the Jefferson's very small batch bourbon, and then we'll go from there.
Now, what proof does this come in at?
This one is pretty, I think it's 80 proof. It's pretty standard. It's as low as you could possibly proof a whiskey.
Bourbon, especially. But who knows? Like, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I've actually never had any of these. I know the original standard Jefferson's is pretty popular. I've never tried it. Let's see what we got here. I've heard mixed reviews on all of these, to be honest, so I'm curious to see what we think of it.
It's definitely got that sweet bourbon kind of smell.
It's really sweet for a bourbon, though. Way less oak than
Right.
I'm used to with bourbon.
It's not abrasive on the nose. It's not boozy.
That smells kind of light, to be honest.
Right. There's kind of a deeper smell.
A lot of honey. A lot of
Yeah.
honey, a lot of caramel. I don't get any oak really on the nose, or very minimal.
Right. It's like you gotta smell deep in there to get any kind
You
of
gotta
wood.
look for the wood in here. Whoa. Okay.
Oh.
It's good. For me, as bourbons go, it's a little weak.
It is.
I feel like it's not.
It still tastes like the inside of a log cabin, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're camping and you get one of those premium cabins, it just kind of...
It kind of reminds me of Elijah Craig if you put water in it. That's essentially.
Poor Jefferson.
I'm sorry, but no, because it's a lot of honey, a lot of charred oak.
Right. It's just a standard bourbon, really.
It's a good bourbon. It's not like a Jim Beam or something where it's real corn tasting.
Yeah.
You get that corn sweetness.
Right.
I'm not getting that here. It's a lot of vanilla, a lot of honey.
Like you don't want to take a shot of it. This is something you can actually enjoy neat.
It's almost like if you age like a malt whiskey in a bourbon cask.
Right.
It's a slightly reminiscent of a Scotch to me. It's way lighter bodied and way less.
You know, this would probably be a good thing to introduce somebody.
Good
like,
bourbon intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, we don't need no intro to bourbon. We've been drinking bourbon for
Drink
years.
Booker's. Consarn it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that exciting, to be honest. It's tasty, super smooth, super easy to drink.
Easy.
And this bottle comes in around between 30 and 40. I've seen it lately. That's about right, but I think for that price, there's other things I would buy.
Right. Elijah Craig.
I think Elijah Craig, like just 2 bottles of Elijah Craig.
No problem.
But it's good. Yeah, it's
bourbon.
nothing crazy, nothing really that exciting about it. Now, Jefferson's Reserve. Bit more exciting because these reserves are typically aged in or finished in some sort of like wine cask or something like that. They usually do something kind of unique and fun with these. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of knowing which reserve it is. You know, each release is a different cask finish, and all this says is Jefferson's Reserve. So it's one of them.
You know, I'm not as much of an aficionado on the wine cask as you. Do you think you'll be able to figure it out? Just on the
Probably
smelling and
not.
tasting?
Probably not, because it's bourbon. You know, you don't see a lot of finished bourbons.
The bourbon will probably take over that flavor.
Exactly.
anyways.
Bourbon is such a strong flavor that it doesn't, to me, it doesn't do the same thing it does, like a Scotch whiskey does when it's finished in a different type of cask, and where that becomes the entire flavor profile. But this one, higher proof, which I like, is 90 proof, 45%. It's a much more expensive bottle. I would say the reserves come in between 75 and like 90. So
It smells a lot more buttery.
yeah, there's more going on here. There's different things. It doesn't smell like more bourbony. It smells like just something else entirely.
Definitely more honey.
Ooh. Whoa.
Oh,
Watermelon? Do you get that?
kind of like watermelon rind.
Like a weird fake watermelon taste.
Like Hell or High watermelon.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's
Was not
funky.
expecting that. That's actually great.
You know-
That's so weird.
You know, I don't like that beer that much, but when it comes
No.
in this proof, that's fine.
That's a flavor I've never tasted in a whiskey before. What the fuck is going on here, Troy?
Oh God.
What rabbit hole did we
Did
we
100%
slide down?
watermelon. It's
Do you
staying,
get that?
It's staying
Such
on the
a
tongue.
like immediate, noticeable, recognizable watermelon flavor. What could cause that, I wonder? I'm assuming now this is some sort of wine cask finish.
Right. There's no watermelon wine that I'm aware of.
No, but you have to think that we don't really watermelon. That's so crazy. You have to think that a bourbon is going to behave differently in a wine barrel than a Scotch. So this could be a type of wine barrel finish we're familiar with, but using an entirely different style of whiskey in it. That's nice. Like, to be honest, the first one, not super exciting. This is very exciting. This has a super unique flavor profile, and that would be honey, burnt oak, and watermelon. And the watermelon isn't really in the finish. It's like the first thing you taste.
Yeah.
It's like right there. It's like, whoa, watermelon, and then you get normal like bourbon stuff.
If you ever wanted to have the closest thing to like watermelon Jolly Rancher, it doesn't taste like that. But if you want the closest thing to that,
It suggests it. There's
Yeah.
something about it that does make you think watermelon Jolly Rancher,
Yeah.
like artificial watermelon flavor.
it's nuts.
That's wacky. I've never tasted anything like that in any whiskey.
No information.
Yeah, we know nothing. I would also say there's a hint of like a rye spice to it too, right at the beginning, like that little bit of that minty, but then it turns into watermelon.
The watermelon takes over so fast. It's
Oh, it's so bizarre. Like, it's just very unexpected. It's great. I actually really like that. That's fun.
That's a nice experience, you know, going to this blind taste test of.
Yeah, we've never tried any of these, and it got so much more exciting on the second one. Yeah, like, it tastes like bourbon with a hint of watermelon.
That's
Like a
nuts.
good bourbon with a hint of watermelon.
That's crazy.
I feel like there's a bit more, maybe rye or something in this one too.
The more you drink it, it kind of hides the watermelon, and you kind of.
I started tasting more watermelon. Now it's more like spicy.
Yeah. It makes me almost think of rum in a way,
Yeah,
but
it could. I wonder if
Like
there
a
are
rum
any
cask?
rum cask finished.
right.
Weird. Great. Really good.
Actually,
Actually,
some research on this.
that was
bad
nice.
boy.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to actually buy a bottle of Jefferson's Reserve just because of that. That's pretty good. Now, this is the most exciting of all of them, in my opinion, because as far as I know, it's the only bourbon aged at sea. This is Jefferson's Ocean, and we don't know the voyage. That's the thing. They always tell you what voyage number they are. But this one has absolutely no info on it.
So is the voyage number supposed to affect the taste?
Well, it's like a different batch, you know. It's like this one went to Madagascar and China and this and that. But essentially, it's just, as far as I know, it's 90 proof, the standard Jeffersons, and then they send it out to sea for like 2 years. They put it on boats. But there's two interesting things that happen there, because you have the fact that it's being aged at sea. You get that sea salt taste like you see in Scotch, more commonly like coastal Scotch,
kind of a briny taste.
Because there's no coastal bourbons, because bourbon is made in Kentucky, and Kentucky is nowhere near the ocean. So you're never gonna those flavors aren't gonna meet. Yeah. You know, so with this is Kentucky bourbon. It's sent out to sea, so you get that salinity, I'm assuming. But also, because it's actually on a boat that's like rocking for years, I wonder if the fact that it's constantly moving around actually
could absorb extra flavor.
Yeah,
maybe?
Just a bit more contact with the barrel, you know, is what I'm thinking. I'd love to see a Scotch distillery do this, like especially one that's already coastal. If they actually like sent their whiskey out on boats for years, that would be sick. Do that. If you're listening to me right now and you're watching this, cool idea for you guys, because these guys are doing it.
I don't get too much brine.
Kind of just smells like bourbon.
Right.
It smells like good bourbon.
It smells kind of like the last one we did. It brines up a little bit on the tongue.
The finish.
Yeah.
There's a very okay.
Yeah. Like a seaweed.
A faint hint of just sea salt comes through kind of in the last half towards the finish.
Yeah.
Not really like a Scotch where it's really seaweedy and really tastes like the ocean.
It's like if you got a bourbon, you're a bourbon drinker, you get this, you're not expecting this.
No.
Not at all.
No, there's a little bit of a sea salt note. I don't get a whole lot of like leatheriness or like I wouldn't call it like a real deep brininess, but there's a suggestion. There's like a whiff of sea air kind of coming off of this.
It's kind of like the last one. I'm sure they weren't trying to put watermelon on you.
No.
But it happened.
This is good.
It's just a suggestion of sea salt.
It's very faint. There's barely any.
Because it just tastes like bourbon with an ocean finish.
Yeah.
Right.
I like it, to be honest. My favorite of the three is the reserve.
So surprising.
That watermelon shocked me. Like, that was just... This is not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. It's just not as oceanic as I thought it was going to be.
I think it's because we weren't expecting... Like, a reserve should
Agreed.
just be boozy.
I think we probably had the expectation of getting a lot of sea salt.
Right.
My other thing would be that bourbon is such a strong flavor profile that maybe it's difficult for a bourbon to really pick up subtle coastal notes like that.
Right.
You know, like you see in Scotch, because Scotch is a lot less tannic and just intense on the palate. Like bourbons tend to have such an intense flavor profile that I wonder if maritime notes can even match it, you know, and even come through.
If this is the best it can do, I'm fine with that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's a fun experiment. Yeah, I would like to see one of these that's aged only at sea.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure would cost a shitload of money, but that would be really cool if they actually did one aged entirely at sea.
In an oak sailboat.
Yeah. in a wood barrel, on a wood boat, on a wood ocean. Yeah, really, this is not that, like, maritime. I thought it was going to be... But I also think the flavors of bourbon... You know, you're talking about oak and, like, corn and rye spice. These are such land-based tastes.
Right.
That they don't really...
It doesn't inspire maritime.
Like, yeah, the ocean doesn't quite fit into that flavor spectrum, maybe, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's good. The most impressive to me is the Jefferson's Reserve. I'm
Easily.
thinking there's some kind of cool cask finish they did there to get that watermelon note, which is awesome. I've never tasted that in a whiskey,
It's off
and
the
I thought that was pretty cool. Any final thoughts on the Jefferson's line here, Troy? Would you buy any of these?
Oh, easily this one.
Yeah, the Reserve.
What was the price point?
So this one, yeah, about 75 to like 90. This one comes in like 80 to 100.
Okay.
And this is
Easily.
like 30 to 40.
I would easily buy this. It's just a good bourbon.
Yeah.
Just a standard, something to drink. I would have this out just for friends. Special
That's like
occasions.
a special occasion. I think I would get one of these though. I like the
Yeah.
Reserve a lot.
Like, If you have people who appreciate flavor profiles, that's one to break out. But other than that,
like if you have people over who already, who are bourbon drinkers, I think all of them would be shocked by what they're going to taste in this because no other bourbon tastes like that. It's such, it caught us off guard, and I really like that. I love being surprised and like shocked by a whiskey like that.
Right.
That's kind of what I look for.
Done that.
I think this one might be kind of more of a gimmick. I think it
100%.
sounds cooler than the results in the glass.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say. I mean, this is for 30 to 40. This is good. There are other
better
bourbons I would buy. Yeah. No bourbon I've had tastes like this, so that's one I would actually consider buying. But I know that the reserves, there isn't just one Jefferson's Reserve. It's a different cask finish every time. So I've heard there's some amazing ones, and I've heard there's some really weird ones.
We left out.
Yeah, they do. I believe there's like a rum finish one. There's a lot of different wine cask finish, which sound interesting.
We'll try them in the future.
Yeah, as far as the ocean goes, and also I'm not sure if different. I've heard people are like, oh, the different voyages make a difference, and I'm like, I don't know. Unless
I
it's a
guess we'll
different
find
cask,
out.
I feel like if it's the same amount of time spent at sea,
I would not pay that price for that.
no, it's not.
Not at all.
It's not getting enough maritime, oceanic notes for me to think that much of it. I feel like it's kind of a gimmick. But they're all pretty good. But yeah, I think winner, clearly Reserve. The Reserve, there's some unique cask finish or something going on with
Jefferson Reserve.
this. That, yeah, gives
Moving
off a
on
really.
up.
Moving on up. There you go. Damn it, we forgot to say that going to the next. We should have. Moving on up. Yeah, we fucked up. Oh well. If you like this, check us out on Instagram. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know if there's anything else you want us to taste or review on the show. And, Sugarbear.
Troy.
And until next time, cheers. Whiskey Dixon. Keep on drinking.